All right, Tyler, it's Fridays. That means we're in the kitchen. We're here with Stacy. Introduce yourself. We're in this beautiful kitchen of ours. So excited to have you here. Yeah, Tell people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so we own the food media company Southern Bite. Everybody knows us from the website southernbite.com. And you know, to boil it way down for you, to use a food analogy, we're just about making it easy for people to get food on the table. You know, our lives are so busy. We're going in so many different directions. And if we can do something that makes it easy for families to put food on the table, that's what we're going to do.
So I'll be honest, I was walking down the hall and you can smell the cucumbers.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Hallway. So what are we cooking
today? Is all about cucumbers. We're gonna start with a very simple cucumber and onion salad. But let's talk about cucumbers for just a second. So when you go in the grocery store, you're going to see three different kinds of cucumbers. You're going to see the long, kind of thin cucumbers that are wrapped in plastic. Those are English cucumbers. Some people call them seedless cucumbers. You're probably going to see this is the most common. This is just a garden cucumber. It's got a pretty thick skin. And then you're going to see, especially this time of year, a small cucumber that has kind of a bumpy skin. This is called a Kirby cucumber or a pickling cucumber. Now,
I was going to say, makes you think of pickles,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So any of those will work for this. We've got the large cucumber here. I will say the skin of this is pretty thick. So when you're doing this, you probably want to peel it all off. If you look at the salad that we've made there, sometimes you can leave just a little bit of that, just a peek of it, just so you have that nice pretty green color in there. All we're going to do is slice that thin. You can see that we've got some in the bowl here. This is about 2 of the larger cucumbers, or about 5 to 6 of those small Kirby cucumbers. To that, I'm going to add, this is about a half of a Vidalia onion. A sweet onion is really kind of what we want for this. And to make our dressing, all we've got is a half a cup of plain white vinegar. We've got a half a cup of water.
Okay.
And right here we have 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt.
And what is this?
This is a clove of garlic that we've just minced up. And that's all there is to this. You stir this together, get that salt and that sugar dissolved. You're going to pour it right over this, and that is literally all there is to it with this recipe.
Now, is it just me? I eat salads year-round, but I tend to eat more salads in the spring and the summer months.
Sure. Yeah, you know, I think the availability of all that fresh produce is really what encourages people, you know, in that direction. You go in the grocery store, you see all the fresh stuff, and I think it does. I think it makes you want to eat it, right?
You want a nice, for some reason, I just like a nice salad, especially in spring and the summer months.
Absolutely. And the great thing about this is that you can make this up, keep it in the fridge. It's great for a few days. The flavor will change a little bit. Anytime that you have a salad like this that you're going to keep in the fridge, and by the way, you're going to want to keep this in the fridge for about an hour before you serve it. Okay. Let all those flavors get happy. But before you serve it, after you take it out of the fridge, taste it for seasoning. You might need a little more salt or something like that. There's some fresh cracked black pepper. You know, this is also just a personal preference.
So you're adding just a little pepper. Do you add a little salt for you before you put it in the fridge, or?
Normally, the salt that we've added in the dressing is enough.
Okay.
But like I said, anytime that something's going to sit in the fridge for a little while, the flavors are going to change and meld. So taste it before you serve it. Super simple.
And you're just blending it all in. Now, do you wait until the dressing kind of sops up into the cucumbers?
It won't sop up completely, but giving it that hour rest time in the fridge does allow that vinegar and that flavor to permeate through the cucumbers and give them all that great flavor. And because, you know, cucumbers are 95% water, so it's gonna leach some of that water out, and it might dilute your dressing a little too.
Now, when you put it in the fridge, do you cover it? Do you leave it just?
Yep, you certainly want to cover it, because when you walked in, you could smell the cucumbers. You could probably also smell the onions too. It's pretty loud, so a sealed container or some really tight plastic wrap is what you're going to want to do before you pop it in the fridge, or everything in the fridge is going to smell like onions and cucumbers.
Hey, I don't mind the smell.
It's not a terrible smell.
I may be a little biased, but it smells delicious in here. That's what we love about Fridays in the kitchen. You never know what we're going to be whipping up over here.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe we'll get Sally and the crew down here a little later to test it out and talk more recipes with you.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
I will be down there for sure to check that out. It looks so yummy and nice and fresh and light, especially on a warm day like
I
today.
didn't even have to beg her to come over here. She said she's coming anyway.
Well, perfect.
No, it's an automatic. Thanks. We'll check